Good day. Well, today what I'm going to do is, I've already done this, but like I said, I'm not new to the YouTube thing, so I got caught up doing it without recording it, and then I was lying in bed last night and I was thinking, you know, I was trying to find out the videos, and there's one or two, but they're very vague and whatever, so I've decided to go ahead and do it again. And also I'm going to record it all because I'm going to be calling Omtech a bit later. They are still sleeping. I think it's like 3 or 4 in the morning in California right now. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I've done. So I'm going to go ahead and undo those tapes, and then we will show you how to connect the resistor. Okay, so here we see that is the red wire going to the laser. This is the red wire going down to the power supply. And on my one, I have a black wire, which is also the low voltage line. That one is to the laser. That one is to the laser. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect the resistor that they supplied. It doesn't matter which side goes to which. Okay, so I've gone ahead and connected up the red and the black wire, on my case, the red and the black. I've gone ahead and put a little bit of installation tape on the joints just to prevent the wire from arcing to any of the ground supply areas. Now, in my kit they did supply this white insulation tape, which I'm sure is good. I just happen to have, well, I always have some black insulation tape. Something about insulation tape, just I always get a little bit distracted in my videos. I'm going to put a little picture of it here, the UL. So when you buy an electrical tape, always look for that UL logo, and then you're going to get a good tape. And when I'm taping up the wires, I'll give you guys another little tip. So now I'm going to go ahead and get something to insulate the resistor so that it's not lying against the machine. They do give you these instructions to say so, and that is what we're doing. We're going to come down here and power up the laser. Now over here we have the pulse button, and we're going to go ahead and push that pulse button. As you can see, when we push it for a second, or hold it for a bit longer, we are getting a 27 milliamp reading. Pulse it again to see if there's any difference. So there's definitely a difference. And we are going to go ahead and pulse the unit. And let's see what happens now if I pulse it. So as per the instructions, we have put some tape not on the mirror, but on the outside of the mirror. And we're going to go and pulse the laser again. According to the instructions, you shouldn't go more than 15% or you will burn the paper. So let's try 15% first. And now we're going to pulse the laser. Now that was 3 pulses. Go over here and take the tape out. And as can be seen, there is absolutely 0 mark. Good morning. So today we're going to do part 2 of repairing our Omtech 60W laser. Now, as you saw in the last video, it came damaged, and we repaired the top and sprayed it that bright yellow color. And then once we got it all together, we found out that the laser itself wasn't working, and it came with the resistor pack, which we put in, as you saw in the last video, and did a video of testing it. We sent this video of all the tests we did to Omtech, and Omtech basically have come back and said that we have a faulty laser tube, and they've gone ahead and sent us a replacement Omtech, I believe, a laser tube. So today what we're going to be doing is, there's a couple of videos on YouTube that we followed on how to replace this laser tube, and yeah, most of them are replacing 100 watt. I wasn't actually able to find any of 60 watt, seemed about the same. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and replace the laser tube. So we're going to go ahead and open up this laser that has been sent to us by Omtech. And it has traveled all the way from California via Florida, via Santo Domingo, and then all the way up to Uranus. So let's see what we have got going on here. So it's definitely well packaged, and we have our instructions, and this is aluminum tufting frame. So this is an instruction manual on a tufting frame, which I just realized this is not the laser. This is your tufting frame for your
No way! No way! So the continue, the unboxing continue because it's mine. I'm so happy that now I can stop.
Alright, so we're back in Uranus, and we now have the laser that we thought was last time. It was HVAC Carol's tufting machine, tufting loom. And we are now going to open the laser today. Fluffy marks tickling me, let's get that around now. And again, my name is Safa Kappa, and we bought the 60 watt Omtech C02 laser that got damaged in shipping. And if you look at one of our other videos, you'll go ahead and see in that video how we repaired the C02 laser, or the damage on it. And once we got that finished, we realized that the actual laser itself wasn't damaged but wasn't working. So after doing a few tests, Omtech have sent us a new laser, which we're going to go and unbox and put in today. So we're going to go ahead and open the laser, make sure it's not damaged, and see what all we need to put the laser. So the laser comes pretty well boxed up. Some foam. Go ahead and put that down for a side. And we have all the vacuum packing, shrink wrapping, bubble wrapping, whatever we're going to go ahead and call it. And just going to go ahead and cut these open for now. And I just want you to see what we get and what we didn't get. So over there we can see that is going to be the high voltage line, and down over there is going to be the low voltage line. Before we go and take this completely out of the box, I want to go over to the laser and just show you what I'm going to do to make sure that the laser goes back in the correct place. Right, so what I've gone ahead and done is I've gone ahead and set up the laser and the laser tube. So the laser machine with the laser tube, I've gone ahead and set it up, and this is the low voltage line, this is the coolant lines. Coming over here, and we have the high voltage and the coolant line. We have the water out, the low voltage line, and the water in, and the high voltage line. So I've laid them down exactly the same, looked at them visually, they all look the same. Now one other thing that I noticed when I was watching some of the YouTube videos on replacing the laser, and I could only find any on the 100 watt laser. But apparently the distance between the laser and the first reflective mirror is not like critically important within micro-inch, but should be within the same. So apparently the distance between that, the end of the laser, and the first mirror
is important. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've just made myself a little sketch marking the high voltage over here and the low voltage over here, so I know which side. And then this distance over here we're going to put down at 2.2 centimeters or 3/4 of an inch. So now when we go ahead and undo it and set it up, we've at least got a rough estimate of where it should go. Back over here, these are the high quality tools that were sent to us by Omtech when we got it. And this magnet I still haven't, that magnet was maybe just to hold the paper down, I haven't found it. And then most important of all is you must have a beverage. As some of you may know, following on my channel, I enjoy my rum and orange juice. And living in the Caribbean, I believe it's a must. So let's go ahead and get the right Allen key and loosen the laser. So we're going to go ahead and loosen. Now something very important as well, guys. Please. You can see the laser is completely unplugged. I don't have any electricity in it. There is absolutely no way of getting a shock on this right now. So please make sure you unplug it before you attempt any of this. Right, now coming back to loosening, I found the really smallest adjusting wrench spanner I could find. Half of them. I'm going to go ahead and loosen the clamp. Right, now the next thing we have to do is these are the water lines and these are the power lines. So we have little zip ties. So we're going to go ahead and just cut these zip ties off. Now guys, bear in mind, remember you can see in there, we actually filled the laser up with water. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, as you can see, it's down at the bottom here. As you can see, you have water inlet and water outlet. I'm going to go get a bucket or something to hold the water and drain the water. When we take this pipe off, all this water is going to run down and this water is going to run down. And as you see, you have holes there. And underneath in the bottom here, you don't have a lot of electronics in this bottom box, but you do have, there's the air assist pump and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and get that all sorted so we don't get water. Alright, so what I've gone ahead and done is I've opened the back of the machine and I'm going to go ahead and just take these pressure clamps off on both sides, or from that side at least. Just go ahead and drain some of the water. Okay, now for our next party trick is disconnecting the wires. So as we can see, we have the low pressure line wire. We're going to go ahead and give that a cut. And coming over here to the high voltage line, I'm going to go ahead and give that a cut. So now, all we have left to do is to disconnect the water line. And the water lines, we should be able to take the laser out. Okay, so now on this, now that we have the wires loose, I do see there's these plastic, little rubber mats which go where the clamps are. So we're going to go ahead and put those one side. Right, so now we have the laser tube completely disconnected. But we've got the wires disconnected. We can go ahead and just pinch off the water hose. Now on this side, the water hose actually broke by the glass, but something else that I see is, you can see the laser is completely disconnected. Now I wonder if that happened in the shipping, and that's what caused this laser not to work. I guess we're going to find out. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is remove the old laser and put the new laser in. Right, so now we are going to remove the old laser and bring it down over here. Now just for our own information, we have the model, the 60 watt. Going over here we have the same model, and the 60 watt and the date. Now the little thing, like I mentioned, there's these little plastic, little rubber supports that are going to be over here for the clamps. So now we haven't disrupted anything with the way everything's been routed. I'm just going to go ahead and tuck that wire away there, get that wire out of the way, and we're going to go ahead over here and take the new laser tube, bring the new laser tube down, and carefully placing the laser tube. Right, so now that I've got the laser in its place, we're going to go ahead and put the little rubber strap on the top, holding that in place. Okay, so we've gone ahead and tightened these down. Now guys, this is a glass tube, and I would hope that a little bit of common sense would be used to understand that we're not going to tighten these clamps down until they're completely tight and crush the glass tube. You just want it so that the glass tube cannot move. So just a nice little gentle nip. And now we're going to go ahead and connect the water lines. Alright, so now we have our water lines connected with new zip ties on both sides. We're going to go ahead and close the bottom. Now something I wanted to show you guys that I found, and maybe it's just my unit, but when you go and close this door, this water line, you have to gently push it in, otherwise it gets caught in the hinge. Alright guys, you cannot do this without a rum and orange juice. So first things first, let's have some of it. Fantastic. When I got my Omtech laser, it arrived, and when we started doing all these checks, you may see when we were putting the resistor in, the low voltage line was actually just twisted together with insulation tape, which for the most part is fine. However, coming from the car engineering background that I come from, I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to go ahead and solder the wires together. Now to do this doesn't take a large lot of machinery. I actually just went and bought a little cheap soldering iron and some silver solder, and we're going to go ahead and actually just solder the wires together. So what we've gone ahead and done is we've gone ahead and twisted up the high voltage line. I've gone ahead and put a slightly damp cloth here so that if any solder falls, it doesn't fall onto the glass tube. And coming over here, you can see our soldering iron is hot enough as the solder is easily melting with it. So now we are going to go ahead and just solder these wires, put a bit of heat on the wire, introduce a bit of solder, and that is all we need to get a nice soldering joint. What I will do is on the next one I'm going to try and get a little bit of a closer in look so you can see the solder getting sucked into the wire. Okay, so when you bring the wires together, you can put them together like that and just twist it, but then you'll have, so a little trick is if you actually put the wires next to each other like this, and then just go ahead and wrap them around each other. Now, you have a bit more of an inline joint, so to speak. So now we go ahead and get our soldering iron, and we can see we bring the heat to just underneath the wire, and just gently touch the solder on, and you can see the solder getting sucked into the wire, and that's all you need, nothing more than that. To give you guys a close-up, you can see when you do the wires like that, it kind of just easier to tape up and it looks nicer. So for now we're just going to go ahead and use the insulation tape, and you might remember that I mentioned in one of my other videos, when buying insulation tape, always look for the little UL logo. I'll put a little picture of it here. It's basically like a banner, so you cannot put the UL label on insulation tape, unless it meets those specifications, and then you can. Now another little trick over here, if you ever like wrapping up wire and you don't have enough space for the roll of electrical tape to go through, I'll go ahead and do a little one quickly here. So you've got the big roll of tape and you're trying to get it around and it's bulky at one foot. Go ahead and unroll, and what you're going to do is, this is the sticky side, this is the clear side. So put the sticky side away from you, and then you're going to start rolling it up towards you. So you're rolling up the insulation tape towards you, making a little roll of tape. So you can go ahead and do it. Like I say, now if you were using cheap or non-UL tape, every time you put your fingers on it, it's going to take the glue off, and then the insulation tape's not actually going to do its job anymore. So we're going to go ahead and just roll up a little ball. Another little thing is, I always like to cut my insulation tape. When you actually pull to break it, you're stretching that piece of tape, and that tape doesn't really wrap around while it wants to go back. The tape actually has like a memory, they call it, where it goes back to what it is. So now, as you can see, you've got a little ball, which is a lot easier now. When we go over here, it's a lot easier to manage than a big roll of tape, while we go ahead and insulate the joint. Now, never put too much pressure, like don't pull it too tight. Put enough pressure so that the tape sticks, but don't pull too much. Now, when you come to the last roll of tape, your very last piece you're going to put around, always try to have a nut where the tape would go around 1.5 times around the wire. So you go 1.5. So this is a bit more of a half. And you put no pressure on that, you just let the tape roll. If you do that, your insulation tape will never unravel. If you see you tape up insulation tape, will go back and it's got little pieces start to unravel. That's the trick. 1.5 times with no pressure. Right, let's go ahead and get the other side done. The soldering iron stays hot for a long time afterward. I've burned myself more than once on it, forgetting it, leaving it down, kneeling on it. The other thing, guys, always remember to unplug these, I want to say cheap, but standard soldering irons. They have no on and off switch. They have no overheats switch, which they're only going to get to their temperature because of their resistance. However, I had a friend of mine in my younger days, and he started his own car radio installation company. And one night, fireman just concluded that he left one of these on and it burnt down his shop. He didn't have insurance, he had customers' costs. Very sad story. So always remember to unplug your soldering iron, and remember to put it somewhere, not on plastic, somewhere far away, on its stand, hang it on somewhere where it can cool down. Coming back to the laser, we're just doing a double check. We have the water hoses in, nothing's pinched. We have the wires connected. We have the high voltage wire, we have our line connected. And coming over here, we have the water inlet line. And that water inlet line comes all the way over to the chiller and goes to the outlet. Now, if any of you are going, oh, you went from inlet to the outlet. Well, it's the inlet, so the water goes into the C02 laser, so the water goes in. We go to the chiller here, this is where the water comes out, so the water goes out and in, and vice versa. This is where the water needs to go back into the chiller, and this is where the water comes out of the CO2. So now that we have the chiller connected, we're going to go ahead and check the water levels, power the water chiller up, make sure that the water bleeds through, and go ahead and bleed the laser again before we power it up. So coming on down to the front of our water chiller, we are going to power the water chiller up, and we can hear the water pumping. And we come over here and we are now watching for any air bubbles. There we can still see a few air bubbles. And just something now I'm going to show you on the other laser now. Now that we look at this laser, we can go over, look, there wasn't supposed to be water in the tube. So had we have known that before, we would have known there was a problem. So coming back over here, we have a little water bubble. And I just go ahead and give the line a little pinch. And for the most part, we can see there's a few little small bubbles, but I'm very happy with that. So after seeing now that we had the water go through there and flush all the bubbles, I was like, look at this video. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. So I thought I'd come over and take another look at the old laser. The moment of truth. We're going to see if the laser actually is going to work. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just measure the distance. So it comes with this little piece of plexiglass. Just going to go ahead and slide it underneath the laser nozzle there. I'll raise it up a little bit. So it just passes underneath the laser. And now the moment of truth. Go ahead and power on. And just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and close the cover. And now we're going to go ahead over to our settings, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and turn the percentage down. I'm going to put it on 29, or let's say we're going to put it on 29%. Just go ahead and see. We have our little laser dot there. Now I know that we might have to align it. Alright, so now we've pushed the pulse button. Are we going to have a burn inside? And ladies and gentlemen, look at that. We have a burn. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is, there's a test file on here. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Okay, we've gone ahead and seen the test file. I'm going to go ahead and push the run button. And if you can see the laser doing something inside there. We're going to come over here. And we are seeing a lot of milliamp changes. So that's exciting, our laser is working, and we're going to go and see the test file, and hopefully tomorrow burn some plexiglass. Thumbs up. Thanks guys. Most important of all, we have to celebrate with some rum and orange juice. Well, I can definitely smell it's burning. I do have the place pretty well ventilated, so we're going to go ahead and let that burn, and we'll see it when it comes back. Well guys, look at that, and wow, look at that clean cut. That is amazing. Honestly, amazing. I'm so chuffed. I am a very, very happy Safa Kappa. Alright guys, well that was our journey, and tomorrow what we'll do is we'll actually go ahead and, if you've been following the diode laser cut boat switch, we're going to go ahead and finish the boat switch that we made on the diode laser, and I think we may as well make one on the new laser tomorrow. What do you think? Guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe and notifications to follow this channel. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm growing a lot, as you can see, learning a lot how to make these videos, learning what to do. I'm editing them myself at the moment, so there's a lot that we're learning. But thanks a lot for coming along on this journey. Cheers for now.